Actually, we got one more review, and then I'll check out the video that Chase posted in the Discord. We got another review right here.
It's been 6,496 days since the original release of Burnout Paradise. Not that I'm counting. With the Burnout series clearly consigned to the same storage cupboard, EA has been hiding the corpses of Westwood, Black Box, Pandemic, and all the other.
EA is. I'm so happy EA got taken over. You have no idea. Fuck EA.
Other studios it's shut down over the years. I completely understand the motivation for developer Three Fields Entertainment to craft Wreckreation. It's an unapologetic Burnout Paradise clone in a stack of very clear
That looks
ways.
like shit. How are you supposed to see what's even happening?
Paradise clone in a stack of very clear ways. Built for a ravenous audience that's been starved of one of arcade racing's heaviest.
The cars look very floaty. I don't like how that looks at all. The cars look way too floaty.
Hitters for too long. After all, if you want something done, sometimes you need to do it yourself.
Right? Well, that's what's going on with all these indie developers. That's why they're blowing the fuck up right now.
Unfortunately, the one core component of its spiritual ancestor that Wreckreation couldn't recapture was its overall quality, and the result is a janky, unrefined, and often unsatisfying racer that I don't have much desire to keep playing.
Dude, that looks like shit! That looks like crap. Bro, Need for Speed Carbon is probably the only game that I've ever played that I absolutely enjoyed the shit out of. And it didn't even look half as bad as this, and it was for the PSP, and originally for the PlayStation 2. Like, come on. This looks like shit.
To Burnout Paradise runs surprisingly deep, even for an independent studio that's spearheaded by former Criterion Games bigwigs, the home of the Burnout series. In fact, there are times when it borders on self-plagiarism. Such are the similarities, from the digital information ticker at the base of the screen to the familiar tone of a successful takedown. As such, Wreckreation often seems more concerned with recreating entire segments of Burnout Paradise's identity than establishing its own unique one. I'm conscious it's trying to do this with a fraction of the budget and a sliver of the staff of Criterion's classic, and that's admirable in its own way, but comparisons are unavoidable when the parallels are this blatant.
You see, if this was a Nintendo game, they'd get away with the copy and paste behavior. How is that? How is that? How is it that no other game is allowed to get away with copying and pasting every single mechanic in the game except for Nintendo? How? It makes no sense.
From the opening race, it was evident things were awry. From the frame rate stutters when I hooked into a drift...
Bro, it fucking stuttered!
It was evident things were awry. From the frame rate stutters when I hooked...
Dude, come on!
Into a drift to the...
You got one job! You go in a straight fucking line in a car! And you're stuttering? Dude, that looks like shit. Look at that road. It's not even fucking rendered incorrectly. What are those shadows? What is that? That looks like fucking shit. Oh my god, that looks terrible. Bro.
Sliding itself, which feels a little more cumbersome than I typically like. Arcade racers live and die on their handling, and Wreckreation's driving dynamics aren't the best by any stretch.
It looks way too fucking slidey. Like, I don't know if it's because they're trying to make it seem like, what are you supposed to be able to fucking see here? What are you supposed to see here? The fucking blur? Like, what the fuck is this? You can't even see anything. Everything's blurred. Like, holy shit. What is this? It looks like garbage.
The drift brand of handling is straightforward enough, but it's not the type of drifting that lets you effectively alter your angle throughout a power slide. It's almost as if the throttle has no real impact on your drift angle once you're sideways. I became accustomed to the handling, but I certainly can't say I ever warmed to it. I especially dislike its idiosyncrasies, like the fact that cars will screech to a quick halt when braking in a straight line, but stop on the brakes mid-drift and your car will simply continue to hurtle onwards, even if you're completely off the accelerator. There are also occasional moments of severe understeer, but I can't figure out what's triggering it.
Bro, that pisses me off so much. You can see what he did. He hit the brakes. You can see the dust kicking up underneath the truck. Watch, you'll see it. And brakes, and then it just nothing happens, dude. Fuck that. Fuck everything about that.
Race across Wreckreation's elevated stunt tracks, the next event was a stunt challenge, where I was required to
Bro, this looks as empty as that new skate game. It just looks so empty. Look at it. It looks so bad.
Where I was required to accumulate a certain amount of points within a very basic array of jumps and loops. Unfortunately, while my car could easily make it around the skinny loops during free roam, the moment I tried to take them on during the stunt challenge, my car was instantly wrecked for no apparent reason. This wasn't a one-off thing, it was consistently repeatable and happened every time I tried to drive the loops during the challenge. That's a bad bug to hit 5 minutes in.
That's awful. What the fuck?
Pivoting my approach, I stuck to the jumps in order to build up the points I needed.
You can't even go into the loops because the game's so damn broken.
To progress. It wasn't particularly challenging, and the simplistic approach to auto...
Yo, they better rate this shit low. There's no reason for them to have like a fucking 8 or a 7 on this. Bro, this is one of those ones that I will chew out.
Leveling the cars in the air means the stunting is all rather superficial and shallow compared to something like Wreckfest or Hot Wheels Unleashed. But nonetheless,
Bro, let's give credit where credit's due. I've never played a Hot Wheels game, but from what I've seen, they look really good as of late.
6 times the necessary score when the time limit expired. At this point, I failed the challenge.
Why does it do that?
At this point,
hold on, wait a minute. I'm gonna point this out. This isn't the only time I've seen the car shift to the left or the right. Mid-air, when you're going through the fucking loops and you hit the end of it, if you notice, whenever he comes out on the other side, the car immediately shifts mid-air from the left, from the center to the left, or to the right. Watch. It's the second time I've seen this. See what it's doing there? It just immediately goes to the left. What the hell is causing that? What could you possibly have on your dogshit game that causes the car to shift to the left, or to the right outside of an obstacle? What is that? I've never seen that before.
I had, in fact, scored 0 points, because points don't automatically bank at the end of the session if you're still accumulating them in a combo. They just vanish. This sort of thing leaves a terrible first impression, and nothing I subsequently...
So you mean to tell me that if you're... So, like, usually whenever you play these racing games, you have, like, this indicator that shows how many points you've got, right? And until you either stop or you fuck something up, the points won't bank. They won't go into like the overall score. So you mean to tell me that if you're like 100 away from hitting your score and beating the thing, unless you come to a complete halt to bank those points, you automatically fail if you're midair? That's garbage. That's actually garbage.
It was strong enough to affect the course correction. After the stunt-centric opening minutes, Wreckreation quickly settles down into its largely Burnout-inspired groove. The bulk of what's on offer here...
How the fuck are you even supposed to do anything there? Like... Because right here, it looks like he's far enough away he could start maybe turning right when he gets to about that white car, right? But by the time he hits that white car, it's too late. For whatever reason, it seems like it just jumps into the guardrail. Watch. And he should be turning now. And he's just into the guardrail.
On offer here are standard races, where the goal is to finish first. Takedown races, where the goal is to wreck a set number of vehicles. Plus the occasional time trial and shutdown event, where you must perform a takedown on a special marked car while exploring the open world, in order to add it to your garage. Sound familiar?
The Dearborn Schaefer Gemini is a big, bulky, battle-ready sedan.
You can progress through all this content however you see fit, hitting events in any order as you uncover new ones around the huge map. Unfortunately, this flexibility doesn't disguise how familiar every race rapidly becomes. The size of Wreckreation's massive map is almost certainly a major culprit in this. At a reported 450 square kilometers, it's an environment larger than a lot of contemporary open-world racing games. It makes for a great bullet point, but the reality is that this huge size brings with it major caveats.
You know what I hear whenever I hear a huge map? Unless it's Odyssey, I hear a lot of fluff. I hear a lot of, like, doing the same tasks 75,000 times just to complete the game.
Its primary problem is that it's extremely generic. It's a big square island with no towns or cities. It's just ribbons of tarmac and dirt draped over vanilla countryside, where one side of the map feels no different from the other.
Yep.
There are no memorable races because there are no memorable areas. There's very little to distinguish one race from another, so ticking them off became tedious pretty quickly. There's also a bug I encountered semi-regularly when selecting Restart Race from the pause menu that removed most of the HUD and made it impossible to open the map. The only fix was to restart the game, which was equally tiresome. Races occur against just 5 other opponents, which is low by modern standards, and rely on some pretty egregious catch-up AI to stay tense, but they're better than the takedown races and shutdowns. Takedown races began as a major frustration with awful
You see, my big problem with this, how the fuck are you supposed to control this when you've got the speed up so high that everything's blurry? It's not fun when you can't control your vehicle like this. Because when you get to this speed, or not even the speed of the car, it's more like the environment shifts. It makes you it kind of fucks you up in a way because it makes you feel like you're going faster than you really are, and you're really not. I mean, yeah, sure, you're going pretty fast at 377, sure. But most racers are still able to see pretty clearly. The world around them doesn't bend, and it's a fucking game. You gotta be able to play the game. You gotta make it, reasonable. It's so stupid.
It placed fresh takedown victims too far ahead. Unlike Burnout,
he's going so fast that he can't even tell where the guardrail is. How are you supposed to see that there's a guardrail that kind of moves into your way right here? You see it? How it curves? How are you supposed to see that?
Burnout's road rage events, which effectively inject opposition around you at all times to smash and bash. Wreckreation messed up massively by making other cars a total chore to catch within the slim time limits. Hell, sometimes they were impossible to catch because they spawned on an adjacent road you couldn't reach thanks to the guardrails.
Wow.
A patch released this week addressed this, and now opponents quickly streak into the picture from behind, just as they do in Burnout, although they still occasionally spawn on nearby roads you can't get to. But I have to wonder how it was released in its previous state at all. How thoroughly was this game tested? At any rate, I've always maintained that the Burnout series fumbled when it added time limits for road rage events in Burnout Revenge. Burnout 3 Takedown was better without them, with the limiting factor simply being how much damage a car could take. I wish Wreckreation had cribbed from the latter in this instance.
Ow.
Wreckreation also introduces a new spin on its off-brand road rage mode, which adds cars you're not supposed to take down, lest you receive a time penalty.
Really?
I don't find this a fun twist, and I actively dislike competing in these. The penalty cars don't just chop precious seconds off your time limit, they don't even count as takedowns if you shunt one off the road accidentally.
That sucks.
The worst penalty takedown...
And you know what makes it 100 times worse is that with it being that fast and you not really being able to control the car because of how slidey it is, that's gonna happen in these races.
2 marked penalty cars you can't crash into, meaning every batch of opponents will only have 2 cars to take down. It makes chasing some of the high takedown totals extremely frustrating, and doubly so when it's being stingy with attributing them to you in the first place. I lost track of the times multiple AI cars crashed out during a slow-mo takedown clip, but I was only rewarded for one of them. Chasing the unfairly overpowered AI during shutdown attempts is also extremely frustrating. That is, being barely able to catch a pickup truck that was supernaturally staying out of my grasp by perfectly matching my top speed is a cheap trick. That's know gross. Speed stats are a bit of a meaningless metric in arcade races with rubber band AI, but discovering this truck was actually doing at least 40 kilometers per hour more than what it's literally listed as being capable of was pretty annoying after chasing it across the map for 10 minutes.
That's crazy, dude. What the fuck?
As close as Wreckreation sticks to its Burnout family roots, it admittedly does bring a whole new pillar of play to the party in the form of its customization and creation tools, dubbed Live Mix. This gives us the ability to do everything from renaming vehicles to changing the weather and traffic density to even plonking down huge track pieces to create massive skybound stunt courses. The track creation suite should speak to me. 1990s Stunts from Distinctive Software with its pioneering track building tools is one of the most formative racing games I've ever played, and I've adored this sort of thing ever since. However, Wreckreation's track builder has completely failed to inspire me.
Dude, that ain't gonna be worth the shit.
There are some elements
Ain't
here
no
that I
way that's
find
gonna be
quite
worth the
neat.
shit.
I admire how most of the track modules
It's a woman,
automatically
too.
generate the necessary support structures
Ugh.
beneath them to
Ain't
secure
watching
them
that.
to the ground, regardless.
Hey, go
of their
watch that movie.
elevation. It gives the tracks a feeling of physical presence, like the skyscraper-sized feats of engineering something like this would be. There are some clever considerations baked in here too, like
What
how
the
the
fuck?
scaffolding will handily delete itself if you place new track pieces beneath established ones. However, after clipping together a whole bunch of track segments and one complete game crash as I tried to add the last piece, the net result is that they're nowhere near as thrilling to drive on as they look. It just
Really?
feels significantly out of date compared to the incredible depth and fine
maybe that's just how the road looks. It still looks like shit.
Live Mix ultimately proved handy on occasion for dropping down a jump or platform to reach a smashable billboard, although I've since wound back on that. Tracking down and crashing through the many collectibles quickly became rather dull thanks to the fact the world just isn't very interesting to explore. This is a non-insignificant hurdle considering a lot of these collectibles are additional pieces and modules for the stunt tracks. It's hard to argue the juice is worth the squeeze here. I'd say Wreckreation's residents would be happy to see fewer obstacles strewn all over the roads, but they simply clip straight through them in a shower of sparks anyway, like the props are invisible.
Dude, it's gotta be like a 4.
Overflowing with ambition, but
There's no way.
plain and with no style to call its own, Wreckreation feels like a supermarket brand homage to a
Bro,
series
there's
of
no
better arcade
way.
versions. Built with the user-generated content tools of another game. While slamming into my opponents rewarded me with snapshots of an arcade racer that's fast and engaging for seconds at a time, any buzz I gleaned was quickly snuffed out by unpredictable handling, a dull open-world map, same
Oh, a
unit structure,
5?
and
Nah,
an
dude.
assortment of annoying
I'd give that a
design
4.
choices and bugs.
I'd give that a 4.
For more recent verdicts, you can
No, that's stupid. You should have given it a lower one.